Hey everyone, Tom here from Blue, here to walk you through the BluMortgage platform end to end, all the features that we offer, hitting on the key pain points that we know top mortgage brokers are experiencing and what they're going through. Before we get too deep into it, I did want to give you a little bit of an overview of what I'm actually going to be talking about. So what we say with BluMortgage, there's actually about 3 different key areas that we focus on. So there's what we call lead management, prospect management. There's deal flow, so a live deal, and a lot of that has to do with integrating with your deal submission platform like Filogix, Velocity, Finmo, Scarlet Mortgage, Mortgage Boss. And then the final part being more so post-close, stay in touch. That can be automated, emails as well as newsletters, things like that. So we're going to touch on all those there. Before we get into that too, I do want to just kind of give everyone a little bit of a heads up that if they do have kind of additional questions about how maybe things I didn't cover in this demo, BluMortgage.ca is a great place to start. You can see some key info about us, some bit of the intro there, some of our clients, some testimonials, and you can also reach out and maybe ask some questions there. Or if you wanted to, even book a demo right here with this link. So let's get back to the demo itself. What you've seen in the background as I was talking there, this is actually the home page. So I didn't talk about it too much. And honestly, I don't like spending a ton of time here simply because this kind of summarizes everything. But actually, I'll go through each individual part in much more detail. But the point I do want to make about this homepage is about the customizability, and it really speaks to the system at large. And so when you look here on this homepage, you can see there's different things like upcoming renewals and birthdays I got this month, and what does my pipeline look like, even volume to date and how that compares to last year. So a lot of kind of good nuggets of information, but without going through too many specifics, what I did want to show is the fact that you can reorder this. So let's just say for you, for example, actually that total volume year to date is really interesting. And so, you can very easily maybe bring it up like this and, also mortgage amount closed this month. And it's simply that easy. It's all click and drag, and you can make the system your own. I think that's a really key part for us. We understand everyone's business is a little bit different, and so we want you to be able to tweak this system to match your business, not the other way around, really. And so I talked about those 3 buckets: lead management, deal flow, and then post-close, stay in touch. I'm going to actually touch on them in reverse order, even though that's kind of the chronological order. I'm going to start actually at the end, because that's usually what people think about first when they think about a CRM. And so when I come into here for my post-close, this is where I have all my mortgages. This is my board for my mortgages. And so these first couple of things, these are live deal stages. I'm collecting docs, or I've pre-approved the client, or I'm underwriting the file. So that's not post-close. We'll get to that in a second. Where it really matters is this mortgage close column, right? And these different ones here. Looking at this, really it's a column of all your closed deals. And the great thing about this is that this will integrate right in with your deal submission platform. So I listed them before. Again, you can see them on our website, all of our integration partners, but we work with Finmo, Velocity, Filogix, Boss, Scarlet Mortgage, even some couple other ones here. And so if you're using any one of those systems, we can very easily import the data. So you have your data over there, whatever it might be, it can come into the system. So you're not doing any kind of manual entry. It'll all come in. And this is something we actually directly help you with. And then, once it's in here, basically you can start doing the marketing campaigns. And so the first one where people usually start, I'll just kind of pick a random one here. So for any one of these mortgages now, let's say for Evangeline, you want to start reaching out. So I can click in, and this shows some details about her. I'll get into these details maybe a little bit more during the live deal. The area I wanted to talk about right now is this initiate action plan. So this is a pre-built campaign in the BluMortgage system. It's already templated. It's based on really a lot of best practices we know from some of the top teams you work with. And all really it is for you, what you need to do is come in here and check this box. It's as simple as that. And what it does is it looks at, the system will dynamically look at Evangeline, look at her closing date and her maturity date. So it'll be dynamic, most 5-year terms, but we're seeing a lot more 3-year terms or even longer, right? It'll look at that dynamically and build out a series of touch points over that period. So I think if it's a 5-year mortgage, it's about 19 touch points. And by checking that box, the action plan is created, those touch points are created, and on each of those touch points, an auto email sends out basically what you'd expect: staying in touch, making sure that their mortgage needs are met. And I'm going to quickly do a detour into the settings area here just to show you exactly what those might look like. So this is an area you'll have access to and we'll guide you through. But I'll pull up a post-close email. And here's one of my favorites, very basic. And it is what it sounds like, right? 5 months until renewal. This will be dynamic. Again, the action plan will be smart enough to say, okay, 5 months before that maturity date, send this email. It'll put in your logo, your signature, put in the borrower's name, and it's just really a quick check-in saying, hey, this renewal is happening in 5 months, and asking them to reach out and engage with you. The great thing about this too is for any one of these templates, you can hit edit and you can write your own custom message, let's say, right? It's really that easy. You can hit save and that stays. So I'm just going to discard it because I don't want to save that custom message there. Great. And so that's really where a lot of people start. The action plans, automated touch points throughout, maybe tweaking some templates for the way they like to talk to their customers. But then the next thing we see in terms of staying in touch is more like newsletters. Let's just say, for example, for all your closed clients, you just want to, when I'm filming this is March right now. And so maybe for all your clients, what you want to do is select all of them. And you can see how I can select all of them, or I could say, hey, no, I don't want to reach out to this person or this person. And once all these people are selected, I could send them what we call a mass email. Looks at all your closed clients, and it's just a simple reach out to make sure, again, you're staying in touch with what's going on. And so I talked about it being March, and we have pre-built templates in here for, I think we have one for each month. Let's see. Let me look here. Oh, yeah. So basically for this, I know what's going on. That's actually going to be in my borrowers section, but I'll show you it here. This might be a better place to show you. Let's pull up March. Yeah. So something like this. And you can see we have pre-templated emails showing really kind of what's going on in March, common things that people need to think about in this month, all pre-formatted, ready to go for you. And again, for you, you can choose to edit it or just send it as is. So that's that March one there. But another common thing that we might see is actually maybe a Bank of Canada rate announcement. And maybe for you, you really want to reach out to your variable rate clients because those are the ones that are the most concerned. And so what you can do is come in here, hit filter, and based on, again, all the data we're going to bring in from Filogix, Venmo, Velocity, whatever you're using, you could say, hey, let's say rate type is variable. So show me all my variable rate clients. I'll apply that filter. Let me move me over here. And you can see, I don't know if you saw that, I was moving myself around. This actually just changed. And so what it does is, there was actually 180 before. Now it's only 35, but these I know are all variable rate clients that I've closed. And so instead of just sending a generic blast saying, hey, Bank of Canada rate change announcement, be much more targeted and said, hey, Steven, in this case, you're on a variable rate mortgage. We closed this with you, quite some time ago. Bank of Canada has changed their rate. This is what it means for you specifically. And of course, the great thing is, we have these ready to go. So if I just type in variable, let's see, you can see Bank of Canada, if it's an increase, we have one. And if there's a decrease, hopefully it's decreased. Let's be optimistic here. You can click that, send that out. And again, like everything else, we have this pre-templated, but you can change this as you need to. So that more or less wraps up the key things we like to talk about on that third bucket there. So let's move back in time. Let's talk about live deal. And I kind of touched on it very quickly here, which is what these columns are up front, right? These blue kind of columns, they walk through the different stages of a live deal. Now, the most common question we get at this point is, can I change these stages? And I wouldn't bring it up if the answer wasn't, of course. So of course you can change it. You can change the names, add stages, remove stages, whatever makes sense for you and your business. We want this system to match the way you like to do business. The other next most common question is, how does it work with my deal submission platform? And so for most deal submission platforms, there are some caveats, but for most of them, this is going to be in lockstep with it. So let's say you submit, or let's say start an application, it'll automatically show up as a new card here in BluMortgage. Then, you're further down the line, you get maybe an approval on that application. Automatically, BluMortgage will grab that deal and move it to the next stage. And so for a lot of people, this doesn't actually have to be an active place that you're managing and coming in and making sure things are up to date. It's more of a point of reference. You can come in, you can see exactly what's going on. It's great for you. Even if you're on a team, I would say it's great maybe bringing it up as a sales meeting. Where are we at with each of our files, and what are the next steps? What do we have to do? So that's a huge piece of the value of this, is making sure you're staying on top of all the things going on in your day-to-day. Especially if you have high volume too, right? You have a lot of files, you can't keep everything in your head. You have multiple team members doing multiple things. Is a great way to keep track of it. And so beyond tracking, what else can you do in this pipeline? I mean, tracking is one thing, but we always like to push the limits and see what else we can do. So another huge part of this is just more or less keeping track of exactly what's going on every file. So this is what I was kind of alluding to a little bit earlier, and I want to spend just a little bit of time on it, where you can come in and this becomes kind of the control panel of everything that's going on with this particular file. You can see here what stage we're at, the transaction, who my borrower is. It seems like I only have one right now. But you can also see if I open up these details, there's a ton of other things that I can start tracking. Things like condition on financing date, closing dates, first payment dates, who the realtor is. I can dynamically put this in, say it's Justin, the lawyer. Let's see if I have any lawyers. I think I have one here. Maybe it's Larry. There he is, Larry McLawyerson. Put that in, rate types, all sorts of really useful thing. And again, for most cases, this data more or less comes over from your deal submission platform. But if you ever wanted to put in specific things, it's very easy to do so, like I just showed you. And it's a great reference point, and you can also just hide it. Like for most people, they kind of hide it unless they really need specific details, they'll open it up. And the reason they hide it is so they can start using kind of these other areas here. And really, when I look through, it's notes, conditions, emails, tasks, meetings, calls, attachments. It's really everything else that would happen in a mortgage transaction. So, some of these speak for themselves, but there are a couple cool things that I'll just quickly highlight. For notes, notes seem to speak for themselves, saying Tina is not responding, let's say. The thing I wanted to highlight here is that you can actually tag your teammates. So my teammate is Jamie. Say, at Jamie, can you reach out? Right? So it's a really nice way to actually coordinate with your team, and then Jamie gets a ping in their email inbox. They know to come in here and they can respond and continue that conversation, make sure things are moving along. As I scroll down, conditions, this is a place where you can kind of come in and say, okay, yeah, for Tina, I need the divorce agreement. Maybe she went through on 2 forms of ID. And in general, of course, I'm going to need a copy of the MLS. This is a purchase. And so you can throw these things in. Most people use this as the lender conditions, right? So when the lender comes back and gives a list of conditions, this is a great place to keep track of that and say, okay, well, the divorce agreement, we are reviewing that. This one, actually, we've received it, but it needs some input. And this one's, good to go. Right, so you have these different statuses that allow you to track it. Continuing through the last couple sections, email kind of speaks for itself. The cool thing with this does integrate with your inbox. So if you're in Gmail, Outlook, wherever you are, you're sending emails to Tina, automatically all those emails will come right into the CRM. So you're not checking both places. There's no extra effort you need to do. Just set up the integration once, which will help you with, and now you have a full overview of all the emails sent for you, but also your team, right? So if your team integrates their email inbox, all those emails across your entire team will be right here in a single spot. And then just to close out, tasks, meetings, calls, honestly, those more or less speak for themselves. The other cool thing with this, I guess, maybe is that it does integrate. If you use like a Outlook calendar or a Gmail calendar, we can integrate with those. So you set an email or pardon me, a meeting up with, let's say, Tina in Gmail, we'll actually track that and have that right here in the CRM. And so that becomes that control panel place, single source of truth, I like to call it, a place you go to know exactly what's going on the deal. And then as a final thing, we like to push the limits. I say we're doing that is we like to then layer in some automation. So now that this has become a place that has so much good information, we want to use that information. So what do I mean by that? So let's go and say, okay, this deal here, I'm just going to manually do it right now. It just becomes conditions. You've completed the conditions on this. Well, in doing so, first of all, a couple tasks automatically got created. And I don't know if you saw that. If you're watching the recording, maybe go back in time, you can see these 2 tasks just got created, which is pretty cool. And it's smart. The system knows that we're at this stage, and based on this stage, these are the things that need to happen. Make sure the lawyer receives the mortgage instructions, and make sure the realtor lists financing condition on purchase. So those 2 things get there. You can assign them to the correct team member, or maybe it's just yourself. It's going to stay there until you complete it, right? So it's giving you these reminders, making sure you're doing what you need to do on each file. To take it even one step further, these automations can be internal, like these tasks, or they can be external. So that's my favorite. It's where people really unlock a lot of value is I hit conditions fulfilled. The system actually could reach out to my client automatically, Tina, and say, hey, Tina, we've actually just cleared the conditions. We're now working with your lawyer to get the mortgage instructions. Same thing could even happen to the lawyer. Now we know it's Larry McLawyerson who's helping Tina. That's something that you know. You could actually reach out to Larry and say, hey, Larry, we're both working with Tina. Conditions fulfilled. We're just waiting on the lender to get those instructions. We'll get them over to you as soon as we get them, and we can close this file. So very powerful. Honestly, it's probably things that you're already doing, but it's just an automated way that A, you don't have to retype the same email a million times, and B, nothing's falling through the cracks, right? It's all automated. The system's taking care of it for you. So that's bucket 2, more or less, of that live deal management. Keep in mind for all these things, there's a lot of layers to it, but I'm going to kind of focus on the key points. The last bucket I'm going to talk about, which is really the first bucket of lead management, that's where we look in the borrower section. So this is honestly for people who I'd say do a lot of online leads. Maybe they have a little bit of a process, especially maybe you get a referral, let's say, and it's not appropriate to send them an application right away. You maybe want to have a phone call with them, a discovery call, see what they want to do. This is the area to actually manage all those pre-application type interactions. And so it looks and feels very similar to the mortgages, and that's on purpose, right? We don't want you to have to relearn an interface depending on what you're doing. And so, yeah, it's all right here. You can see we start, that's actually not contacted, attempted contact, contacted. Each column, again, customizable, and it's a place very much so like the deal flow where I can come in here and I can kind of click and drag and manage the different steps that I'm going through. Unlike the deal flow, it's a little less automated. I mean, some people can integrate their website and their social media accounts, and we actually see that for the people who do a lot of social media and website-based leads, and it actually works quite well. But for more people, we see maybe more referral-based, whether it's from realtors or past clients. And for them, it's more, okay, I'm going to manually load up a contact. And then once they're in here, let's say Mona, for example, is someone who's in here, I can very easily just grab it, click and drag to the different stages. What is very similar and why people really like this is that, yes, it's a tracking tool, but also you can layer in some automation. So let's say Mona, your realtor referral partner says, hey, you got to reach out to Mona. You try reaching out, you give her a phone call and aren't able to get through, you can click and drag to attempted contact, and that can send an auto email to Mona. Hey, Mona, got your contact information from whatever realtor, just tried reaching out, wasn't able to get through, please give me a call back when you get a chance. Another great thing about it is, or really great automation we see a lot of people doing, is the online application. So maybe you've contacted Mona, had a great discovery call, and you say, okay, well, the next step is do your online application, which we're seeing more and more people doing. You can click and drag to this sent portal link column, and that'll actually automatically send out your online portal application. So it'll be an automated email saying, hey, Mona, please fill this out. And the cool thing about it, again, is it'll keep reminding Mona to fill out this online application until it's complete, right? Until Mona goes from sent portal link to finished application. And once that happens, then you switch gears over into the mortgage live deal section, which we've already talked about. And so really, now if I go in the proper order, the CRM is designed to really keep track of every interaction from just that email introduction, maybe from a realtor or a past client or whatever it might be, through the discovery of contacted to finishing that application, the entire live deal, and then post-close staying in touch. And so really every single touch point along the way, Blue has a system and is designed to help facilitate that and make that easier for you and your team. That more or less, and hopefully now, actually going through all this makes a lot more sense where you can see, okay, well, this makes sense. Okay, these were those, post-close people I need to stay in touch with, those renewals. This is birthdays this month. These are contacts that I have. Tasks are those things where when I change the stage and I got the tasks, this is where they actually show up. And then, hey, what does my deal pipeline look like? We went through that deal pipeline. So that's why I always like to save this for last, is to make sure, now this hopefully makes a lot more sense having that context. The last thing I'll leave you with in terms of the actual system itself and how people use it is this area here. So one of the great things about BluMortgage is it's built on a system, powered by a system called Zoho. And maybe some people watching this are familiar with that. What that allows is, yes, the CRM, which has a ton of fantastic capabilities, but it also gives you access to this, which we call kind of like our digital productivity suite. And each one of these icons that you see here is just another digital tool. It's something that's included, no extra cost. They integrate all together, making it super easy to adopt. So the most popular ones being probably bookings. This is kind of like Calendly, if people are familiar with that. It allows you to send a link to your clients and they'll book time with you. Sign, I'll open up this one, click. This is like a DocuSign place where you can send for signature, upload a document, click and drag. It's great for disclosures, but especially those signing packages, commitment packages. It's a great tool, heavily used by a lot of our clients for that. And then the other final one I'll mention is, more for those socially minded folks. Social media manager, it's called Zoho Social, allows you to connect to Facebook. Well, it's X now, not Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all these different logos here. And what it allows you to do then is, let's say you're at an event that you want your borrowers to know about. You take one picture, you do one post, and it sends it to each of the different platforms. So I won't go through all of them there, but that's just a little taster of what's included. And again, no extra cost for these. You can actually save a ton of money, and they all integrate together. So You do something on social, someone interacts with that post, that's actually something you can track in the CRM. Likewise, you send a signing package to someone, you can track the status in the CRM, right? It all comes together as part of the package. And so where does that leave us? The only other things, of course, that are really important for your decision will be the pricing and then the onboarding, I think, are two huge things. So it's our pricing page. We have some preamble here. But basically what our pricing is, we charge $90. This is US just because some of our costs are US, but we are primarily a Canadian-focused company per user per month. Or if you were to go yearly, it's $900. So you basically save about 2 months in doing that. And what comes with this, what we're offering is kind of what we call bonus gifts, right? So we know the kind of the key points, the key things people care about with the CRM, and we kind of customize these gifts specifically for that. So the done for you CRM setup, so this is working actually one-on-one with a consultant, will cover the first few hours of their time to get you set up, ready to go. We'll do your data import. We talked about at that beginning. Usually someone would charge $2,000 to mainly do it. We'll do it for free with our pre-built import tools. And the digitize your business bundle, that's what we're talking about at the end. Usually people spend over $1,500 a year on these types of tools. And again, there's no extra cost for you. So these gifts here are providing a ton of value, and they're all included as part of the Blue subscription. And then in terms of onboarding, basically you can see a lot of it here. We talked about the Jumpstart program, enrollment, what we call our masterclass, unlimited requests to our support team, ton of how-to guides, and even our video academy. So we give you a ton of resources. You're never going to be alone in your onboarding. We're going to be right there with you. And just to give you a little taste, some of these are what's a Jumpstart and what's a masterclass. They get even more specific. I'll show you exactly what this is. The Jumpstart, something we run every single day. It's 2 hours every day. You can join, let's say you joined today, you can join the Jumpstart this afternoon. And what it allows you to do is connect your deal submission platform and import your data. And so you're up and running within a day. That's our goal. That's always our goal. So that's the Jumpstart there. And then once you get your data in, which is really the starting point, you say, okay, well then join what we call our master classes. And so these are telling you how you can customize it, doing certain pipeline automations like I talked about, and setting up those post-close stay in touch campaigns. So that's all included, part of the onboarding. And really what we see for most people is once they kind of go through this program, it takes them a week or two. By that time, they're really kind of off to the races and using the system to its fullest potential. So I'll stop there. I've been chatting for almost 25 minutes here, so I really appreciate everyone's time and attention for this demo. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, sales@BluMortgage.ca, or book some time with us. We'll include both of those in the description of this video. But thank you very much again for your time, and hope to see you on the other side. Bye for now.